Right, on today's video, I'm gonna a couple of things to the car. I've got in the car, if I turn the dashboard on, turn the music down, don't know if you can see, I've got orange yellow bulb there, blue one there, and this one, when it's on, sometimes it's not doing it now, but more when the car's running, it flickers, and at night does my head in. So I'm going to try and replace it and sort of show you how to do it. Also, I've got another job to do, which I will show you later on in the video. First thing I'm going to do is put that one down. It makes it a little bit easier to put it through. Put it back up so it locks it. It does come out easier if you take this off, but that does my head in, so I'm not going to do it. Better if I have my tools ready. Alright, so you want to take that one out. And these clips are a pain to get off. Might just have to hook you there a minute. Come on. There you go. That's one off. Right, once that one's out, look at this one. Mine was a blanking plate. Yeah. Some of these you will get this for the dimmer, but I didn't like the blank plate, so I've just put it in. It's not wired in as the plugs aren't there. And then you have back there, the camera's going to focus on it in a minute there. Got one screw there each side, and then up here, and there's a hole there, there's a hole there, and you got them screws. I'll pop they out. I do recommend, if you're anything like me, 2 screws in there. As you can see, this, I'm getting a bit closer for you. Has a gap, and the screws do like to fall down there quite easily. Now, into this, so once it's all unscrewed, will just come out quite easy. But then you have a screw there. It's also a screw in there. There you go. And then there is one up on there that needs to be undone. So take these out. I find it better to use the stumpy screwdriver. Kind of gets in there a little bit. Put that there so I don't mess up the screws. Mine are always tight. Use a slightly longer screwdriver for this one, I think. Difficult to get it in with one hand. There we go. That screw. And the last one over here. Oop. And kind of do the last little bit with my fingers, because as you can see, I have dropped the screws down there before and it's a nightmare. Then we lean forward. Obviously I got wiring up here as the lights inside this stopped working, so I thought I'll wire some LEDs in it. They've stopped working themselves, so but I can't be bothered to change it. Now on the back side of these, you got these clips. I'll take them out a minute. A bit of a finesse. There's also a yellow one on the bottom. I'll show you in a minute. Alright, and then this normally slides out like that. I say you got scratch that a bit, but got two plug wires and then the yellow one. And on the back side it looks, move my chair back a bit, like this. And you have little LEDs, but then you also have the big ones, which is the side light ones. Now the one that's flickering is this one here, which is that type. And then let me put this to one side a minute, because I have a few spare bulbs in here, so I will have a look at what I have. Oh, sorry. I will stand you there a minute. No, that's not working. As you can see, it's the type of bulb they got, and that's the other two spares I've got at the moment. So I'm not entirely sure if they work, so I will pop that one out, as that's the dud. You can go there. That one, which is quite difficult to do with one hand, so bear with me. There you go. If it focuses, there you go. Obviously, stick that one back up here. Now I'm going to plug the connections back in just to make sure that that bulb actually turns on and stays on before I go ahead and put it back in, so bear with me. As you can see, I put it back in. Grab my keys a minute. And let's check that that bulb is the correct way. No, it isn't, so I'm going to have to move. Right, try this again. Yep, there we go. Nope, he's just stopped working. Let's make sure. Nope. Right, as you can see, change the bulb, had to change it. That one seems to be working all right. So now I got the fun job of screwing it all back together. Now luckily, if I move some of the spare bulbs out of my way, I kept the screws separate. So I have the 4 that go onto the speedo surround, and then I've got the 3 in there that go onto the actual speedo cluster. I don't think they're different, but it's just something that I've always actually done. It's just like put them separate, just so that at least I know which ones go where and which ones I've had in the car. Getting them back in is not the easiest of things because of the spots that they're in. I want in a few threads just because I want to make sure it's all sat where it goes before I tighten it down. Now, I don't know why, but I always prefer to do the bottom ones first, do them up tight, and then I do that top one. If I can not keep dropping the screwdriver. Okay, and then this little guy up here. Camera gonna focus. And then obviously the blue thing goes back on and screw it back in. I won't bore you with that, so I will do that in a minute and come back to you. Now, as you can see, it's all back together. I put it on, you get the two different LEDs. Right, now the next job that I'm going to do is, when I got this car, it came with no headliner. Now obviously I've painted it black, put some wrap on it, but that is literally, it's the metal of the roof. So obviously you get a few little gaps like that. You see all the wiring, but also when it's a case of we get cold weather, the roof likes to condensate. And also when it's hot, and this warms up, the inside of the car gets hot. So what I have done is gone and purchased some insulation. It's also apparently a sound deadening, it keeps cold out, keeps the heat out sort of thing. Got it in this grey black fluffy stuff so that at least it looks better than the chrome stuff that I was going to do. See this, I've got 2 rolls of it, as it's only 50 centimeters wide. I think that goes half of my roof. Obviously I've got to take off the sun visor, the interior light, obviously the sun visor is going down. I'm not sure on the width whether or not, if you get, I'm going to have to take these off on the, as people call them, Jesus handles, or the old Christ handles, or whatever. I will see when I line it up in the middle how it's going to sit. So I will whip all this lot off and come back to you. Alright, as you can see, just removed all of that. The only thing I've got to do when I fit it is make sure I put a hole there, but I'm hoping that will go between. I have held this up. If you go roughly in the middle, a little bit of an overlaps there, but it's not too bad. Alright, put you guys down there a minute. I'm going to try and put this little bit on, go back and see how well it sticks. before I go ahead and go right to the back of the car. Oh, seems quite sticky, which is always helpful. Oh, sticking myself to my jumper a minute. That seems very sticky, which is good, because that's what I want. Right, try and get it to line up. And that edge piece of the windscreen. Go back slightly. Hoping to keep this straight. I'll come back to you once I've done one side and see how it looks. Now, as you can see, I have one side on. Wasn't the easiest. I do still have a little bit left on here, so I probably will go down size of here maybe, just to add a little bit to it. It seems to stick all right, and as you can see from this side, got that. A little bit better. It's not too thick. I still have to put the holes in for the visor and that I'll go and do in a minute and get them screwed back in, but quite happy it does stick to your finger and kind of sticks to your scissors a little bit when you cut it without the backing paper on. So next one, I think I might roll it out, and then when it gets near the end, cut it off with the backing paper, so I don't bug my partner's scissors up. And I'm going to go do that now, and I'll get back to you when I've done the second bit and show you what it looks like with the whole roof done. Alright, as you can see, I have both sides done. There is an overlap through this part, not really bothered. I do have some left, so I am planning to go down the side of here, as it is quite a chunk of bare metal, and possibly go up to here for now, but down the line I might get myself a small strip, just stick in here, so we haven't got plain metal there and it just looks like a little bit tidier. Alright, as you can see, I've actually made what I had fit around the car. Don't mind that wire, that's the rear camera. Actually, I know it's not the prettiest, but it's better than what it was. It also stops a lot of the noise. At the moment, as you can probably tell, it's raining. Normally you get a loud banging on the roof, but at the moment it's just your normal everyday rain. I will now go ahead and put that in. I ended up doing this, so I will do that and show you the end product. As you can see, I've got this back on, got that back on. Sits a lot nicer. There's no gap up here anymore. Obviously it's a gap up here, but that's because the headliner used to come along here straight and dip down here, but back up here for the light. But I still think it sits a lot nicer, and I just think the interior looks a lot nicer. See, there's a few little marks, but for about 20 quid, I don't think it did bad for the insulation. Obviously, if I wanted to, I could spray fabric glue over the top of all of this and put like a bed sheet over the top to make it into a proper headliner and cover up a lot of these little gaps here, which, to be honest, I might look into doing. Right, well, that's today done. Hope the video came out okay. Not the best of filming. I do have a gimbal, but it's hard to try and get it into places of the car. I will look at something else that might stand in here a bit better for if I'm doing video on the car. I do have a bigger tripod for taking photos, and that might use that if I'm doing bits to the car. Might do that if I'm doing bits to the outside of the car rather than the little gimbal. Might work a little bit better. I am looking at a external microphone to connect into the phone so that I can actually record voices a bit more. If I'm outside, you'll be able to pick it up a little bit better. For now, they only range about 16 quid, so not really losing any money on that. But I hope you like, I hope you like the video, and maybe like and subscribe to it, and hopefully I'll get better as time goes on. Cheers.